Hey guys, it is your girl Me-Anie here, and as you can tell by the title, today I want to talk to you about 6 things that I kind of put together based off of my own journey to home ownership that can definitely help you. As you guys know, just to give you some background if you are new here, so I purchased my property 6 years ago. It was thankfully right before COVID, so I was able to purchase my house before everything went crazy as we knew it back then. Not too many days go by that I don't thank myself and also thank my friend Matrina for giving me that extra push to purchase my house at the time that I did. I live in an HOA. I know how some people feel about that. I live in a townhouse and it has been going pretty well. So I'm going to share with you, when I look back at my journey, there's certain little things that I wish I knew beforehand, and definitely things that I want to tell other people who are either on their home ownership journey or just thinking about doing it in the future. So get a little notepad, write these things down because they are definitely going to be helpful. I do have some notes down here, so you'll probably see me looking down from time to time. One thing I will say, especially if you are just wanting to look to see what's out there. A lot of us, we start out on Zillow. We kind of look. I know when I was looking after work every day, that was my thing. I would have my dinner, get a glass of wine or whatever, and I was sitting on Zillow just looking at houses in my area within the price range that I was looking for. Now, aside from that, another thing that you can do also while you're looking on Zillow, there's an app called Open Door. Open Door, I absolutely love it. I find that the listings on there now aren't as abundant as before, but it could also be because of supply and demand. But Open Door is basically an app that allows you to go view homes by yourself. This is perfect, especially if you are in a space where, number one, you don't even know what you're looking for. You just want to see what's out there. Or if you're like me, I don't like to be rushed, right? If I go and see a home, I want to take my time looking around. I don't want to feel like, okay, I have a realtor, this person has a schedule that I need to stick to and all that. I love being able to do it by myself any time of day, at my own pace, my own schedule, and I'm able to visit that house as many times as I want to, unless they start taking a deal on the home and they take it, they stop down the visits. So this house in particular, I came here 10 different times before deciding, okay, this is the one, right? I came in the morning, I came midday, I came close to night, I came with my mom, I came by myself, I brought my boyfriend. So I've seen it numerous times with different people and at different times of day, just to see also what the neighborhood is like and the people that are around. So Open Door is definitely a great tool. You can download it on your phone. You get to view homes. When my mom comes to visit, that's something that we do. Even now that I already have a house, we still go looking at Open Door houses. we would line up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 houses if they're in our area, and you can just line them up one after one and go visit. You don't have to worry about wasting anybody's time. You're on your own schedule. You can do it however you want to at your own pace. So I love Open Door for that. And it also gives you the opportunity to see different houses and let you see what you want and you don't want. You might see a house with a nice backyard, but the location sucks. It might have a small kitchen, but a big backyard. I saw a combination of everything, and that kind of helped me pick through what I want, what I didn't want as far as the bathrooms. Do I want bi-level? Do I want hardwood floors, carpet, tile? So it lets you see many different houses, and you can pick out the little things that you want and decide what at the end you're going to stick with, right? So Open Door will be my first one. The next thing I will say, and this is a little bit further along in the process, I personally would say find your own inspector, right? Because the inspector that I personally had was referred to me by my realtor, and he was good. He was good, but he missed a couple things. He missed a couple things. One of the things that he missed, I want to say like a week or so after I moved in, we noticed that there was some possible termite activity. And during his inspection, he said there was no termites. I even called him back afterwards and showed him what we saw. And he was like, oh, they might have had termites in the area before, but I don't see anything active. They were active. They were active. Okay. And if I had known that beforehand, I probably, I may not have gotten the home, but it's just one of those things. So I'm just saying that to say you just never know if the realtor might be getting a kickback for the referrals and things like that. Maybe get a recommendation from a friend or a family member that recently purchased and they can recommend someone to you. Okay. That's number 2. Now, number 3, right along with the inspection, be there for your inspection. If you were there for your inspection, who's taking pictures of my house? Hold on one second. You need help?
No, I'm alright.
Okay. Are you working for the HOA or something?
Yeah,
okay.
Somebody's doing some destructive testing around here. I'm alright.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Speaking of the HOA, they always doing some bullshit. I thought they was out there writing notices. Okay, another thing I was saying was to be there for your inspection. Now, whenever your inspection is scheduled, make sure that you're able to attend. And I made sure that I got here early enough for my inspection. And when I got here, the inspector was already walking around. Even though I said, like, I'm going to be present, this is the time to start. Try to be there as early as you can, even if it's scheduled for a specific time and you're able to get there a little bit earlier just to make sure that you are present, do that. Inspectors, they work on their own time. So they might have an appointment and one inspection might not take as long as the other, and they'll move on to the next location and get started. And I think that's what happened with mine. My guy was actually here when I got here, and he had already started, but he wasn't too far along. So I was able to kind of go through everything with him, which was great because as he's going through the house and looking at different things and pointing it out, you can ask questions. They can explain stuff to you. You are going to get a written report at the end, which is good. But if they find anything that's wrong, they can show you in real time what they're seeing. So like one of the things that they found with my property, he pointed out how the flashing on the patio is probably going to leak from this area and that area because it needs to be sealed. And sure enough, he was correct. So being there for your inspection, it gives you an inside look at your home and possibly things that could be going wrong or that might have been fixed before that you probably wouldn't notice on your own because this is your first home. The next thing, if you do end up getting a townhouse or a condominium, make sure you get a copy of their insurance policy because you don't want to do what I did and waste time and money with insurance. So one thing I didn't do because I didn't know any better, when I got my home and I got insured, for the first year, and it happened within months, I kept losing home insurance policies. Like companies kept dropping me and I couldn't understand why. So finally, I got a copy of the HOA's insurance policy, and come to find out, I was technically overpaying, right? Because I got insurance for my entire house, but the townhouse, the HOA, they already had insurance for the outside of the structure and the roof. And the roof part is what I kept getting knocked off for. So if you get a copy of your HOA's policy and you turn that over to the agent that's looking for your insurance, they can then code it the correct way. And your policy number 1 won't be dropped because it's coded correctly. And then number 2, you're not being charged ridiculous amounts of money and throwing money away because you're overpaying. That happened to me. It was not fun. I think I went through like 2 or 3 different policy holders trying to figure out what was going on. Okay. So the next thing I will say is when you do get your home, make sure you get a homeowner's warranty. It basically will take care of all of your mechanics and electronics as far as appliances, I'll say, in the house. So your microwave, your dishwasher, your fridge, your washing machine, your heater, dryer, your AC, all of that, HVAC, it takes care of that. When I got my house, the very day that I moved in, the heater wasn't working. So I was able to call my policy, call up the policy. And it's a little bit different for people that buy a home when you purchase a home, I believe that policy is ready for you to go 100%. You don't have like a 30-day waiting period as if you were already in a house and trying to reinstate. So I was able to pay the little deductible, which I think was like $80, have somebody come out, and literally all they had to do was flip a switch. They probably lost electricity and something went off, and it was in the attic, so I would have never thought to go in the attic, but they came, they took care of it, the heat started working again, and honestly, it was amazing. And when I had my policy, I ended up using it for quite a few things. I used it for my heat. That was the very first thing. The next thing was my microwave stopped working, so they weren't able to repair the microwave because it didn't have the sticker on there. They had to basically replace it. So I was able to get a brand new microwave. I also used it on my dishwasher. I used it on my fridge. Just things around the house that started like acting up, and I was able to use my policy on. So for a little bit of money a month, for a small amount a month, whatever that amount is, you can pick the policy that fits you, but it is well worth it, especially when you're purchasing a home and you don't know how long they had the appliances or what problems these appliances might have. A lot of the time, you just go in at face value and you see things and they work. But once they actually get into working every day, that's when you start to see like all the kinks and quirks and stuff that's going on. And some of this stuff starts to tap out. It's almost like clockwork. It's almost like it's meant to happen. Once you buy a house, stuff starts breaking. So that homeowner's warranty is very important. Don't skip on that if you can. Even if you just have it for the first couple years, if you're able to carry it the whole time, then fine. That's even better. If you have a newer home, it might not, like if you have a new home with new appliances and everything's new, I might even still get it, at least for the first year, because you just never know. You just never, ever know. Sometimes paying that little fee monthly and then paying the deductible is much better than paying $300, $400, $500 for a replacement or for a company to come out and see what's going on, right? So that was number 5. Now, number 6, this is going to be the top thing on my list. And it's for once you get your house. Once you get your house, make sure, please, 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 please make sure that you file for homestead exemption. Okay, make sure you file, because if you don't, your taxes will most likely go up the year after and your mortgage will increase. So like for me, I totally dropped the ball because I didn't know about it. No, let me not lie. I didn't know about it from my realtor. My friend that was telling me to purchase the home, she did mention it to me, but I kind of like shrugged it off. But I feel like this is one of the things that each and every realtor should be telling you and saying, hey, don't forget to do this, this, and that, especially if you're within the time frame. So with the homeowner's exemption, each state is different, right? So here in Florida, our deadline is from the beginning of the year till March 1st. That's when you have to apply. And when you apply, you only have to apply once. With homestead exemption, once you file, what it does is it takes off a certain amount off of the assessed value of your home, therefore making your taxes cheaper. So let's say your house was $200,000, right? And then you file for your exemption, you get approved. Then when tax time comes, instead of your house being assessed and taxed at $200,000, they'll give you a credit. So they'll deduct a certain amount. So for math's sake, let's say $50,000. They'll deduct $50,000 off of the assessed value, and now your house is being assessed at $150,000. So that will make your taxes lower. Now, if you don't do that, your taxes will go up. One of the ways you can tell if your property taxes have increased because you purchased your home and you didn't do homestead exemption. So you can punch your property into Zillow and scroll all the way down to the tax records. You can see what was paid before. And then once your taxes come out, you can kind of see like, okay, This is what happened because I didn't file exemptions. And that's what happened with me. I didn't file for my exemption that year, and I was definitely in the clear to do so because I got in my house the beginning of the year. I think it was like January 20th or something like that. So that's actually right around the corner. Had I applied for my homestead exemption, my taxes would not have increased the way they did. I think they more than doubled from what they were for the previous owner. So I'm actually going to dedicate a whole nother video to homestead exemptions because right now is the time that I like to talk about it to a lot of people that are either homeowners, buying a home, or they already own a home. Like, I've spoken to so many of my friends about this over the years, and it's crazy how many of them already own houses but did not know about the homestead exemption, right? So that's another thing. Just make sure that you file your homestead exemptions on time so that your taxes, by the end of the year, your taxes do not skyrocket, which then causes your mortgage to increase. All right, guys, so I really do hope that this information helps you in some way, shape, or form. If you have any questions at all, definitely drop them down below. Make sure that you guys are subscribed, like the video if this is helpful so that I know how you feel about this type of content, and also drop a comment down below. If you have a question, let me know. If you're just popping in and saying hi, definitely do so. But until next time, it is your girl Me-Anie. Keep rising.